Hey guys, good evening. Everything you see here on the table, except for these cat eye drops, don't know why those are on the table, but everything you see here on the table is going to be part of tonight's really special live stream. We've got a couple minutes till 8. I just wanted to make sure everything was working. But if you've got any guesses, it is going to be a sweet piece of art. I was going to say, if you've got any guesses for what I'm going to do with this, feel free to chime in and let me know. Is the audio okay? You're not sure? Gotcha. I know there's a delay. Let me know, you guys, if the audio is strange, if the music's too loud. Good, that means it's going to be a surprise then. That's a good guess, Tanner. Ah, perfect. Good to hear. This ties in with tomorrow night's zine exchange, which if you're in the Nashville area, please come. It starts at 5 p.m. and it's going to be down at the Groove. And if I still have energy after doing our main event, I would love to show off some of the zines my students have worked really hard to make. Tanner's on to something. So it's 8. I guess it's fair to get started. So today I am going to use this giant Rice Krispie treat to make a comic cake for the zine exchange. That's right, a very clever boy. So the materials I have for this evening are a giant Rice Krispie treat, a bottle of cookie icing, some wax paper, some cling wrap, and then some toothpicks. That way we can kind of keep the cling wrap from going into the icing. And I have never done this before. I am not a cake professional. I'm excited to see you guys there. I'm not a cake professional, so this might not work out. That's why I didn't tell anybody exactly what I was doing. So the first thing I want to do, I'm going to use this lid. I've washed it. It's clean, but I'm going to use this as kind of a transportation device. So I want to go ahead and put some wax paper on it. Joseph, would you mind explaining to everybody why we have a 2-pound block of Rice Krispie treats? Because this is not something I set out to buy. That's right. Yeah, that's right. And I love Rice Krispie treats. So I'm going to go ahead and work on getting this massive, ridiculous thing unbagged. And although my hands are freshly scrubbed, I kind of want to avoid touching it too much. Just going to move it this way for a minute. So they have a cardboard backing on the back, and I'm going to leave that. And I would have done this in my kitchen, but I just don't have any setup equipment in there. It's very sticky. He thought he was getting 2 pounds of regular Rice Krispie treats. I did too, because that's what he told me he was getting, is regular Rice Krispie treats. All right, so we have our Rice Krispie canvas. Da-da-da-da. And I went ahead and I drew a thumbnail because I'm a comic artist. That's what I do. I'm also going to give myself I mean, we could do that. I would really rather, I love Rice Krispies, and I think I could get about halfway in, but I really don't want to do that. Okay, then we've got this, which has a seal top on it. It's kind of inspired by one of my patrons. Bela Sol is a cake, like a professional cake decorator. And I did not think, oh, if they could do it, I could do it. I did not think that, not at all. I just thought, oh, it would be really cool, and maybe I can do something really easy. So I'm just kind of testing it out here. And this is Wilson cookie icing in black, because I'm doing a, no, oh my gosh, people will do it, don't. So I have here a little thumbnail, and I'm gonna leave it really loose, so we might have a really short stream tonight. Oh, I kind of want to do a straight edge. How ridiculous am I? You know what I'm gonna use for my straight edge? Because I haven't washed any of my rulers. I'm just gonna use wax paper, why not? I mean, we could get real fancy. When I told my mom I was doing this over the phone, she was like, oh, you should make some royal icing, or like make an icing glaze, and then you should paint it with food coloring. It'll be so pretty. And I was just like, whoa, girl. Maybe if I ever get to collaborate with Bay, I would be willing to like do something a little crazy like that. Also, having the wax paper gives me a nice surface that, haha, oh, we're so smart here. We're so smart here in Natto Soup Studio. Look, it's a mask. And it gives me somewhere to rest my hands, which is nice. I thought about it today, I should have bought the blue icing, and then I could have done blue lines with inking, right? That would have been gross. That would have been too much. I'm really glad you guys could all make it tonight. I would like to, I kind of would like to do a stream tomorrow night from the zine exchange. I know some of you guys will be able to make it, but like maybe just like a little short stream. But I also wanted to do this with you guys because I thought it was kind of cool. And I'm not a baker, so of course I bought it. That's another thing. My mom was like, I can't believe you bought 2 pounds of Rice Krispie treats. You could just make them. And it's like, nah. I'm going to do a Southern cheat. We're going to be real Southern. I'll put an apostrophe there because I don't know if I have room for like all of comics. This is both easier than I thought it was going to be and a little bit harder because the bottle is a little harder to squeeze. But
what does the icing taste like?
That is an excellent. I don't want to lick my hands because I'm currently like touching food, but I will taste it. There is some on the tracing. You want to come taste it and tell everybody?
No, you can taste it.
Well, I don't want to. You want to come put your finger in the icing? And I can. Well, this is a PG-13 channel, so maybe not. I'm sorry my head keeps dipping into the shot. We're not going to have room for a C and an S. I know. I apologize for that. But I need to also see what I'm doing. Oh, we did it. And it's not perfect, but it's hand lettered, y'all. Like, okay, I should have been way skinnier with the Megan.
You erased what?
No, probably not. quiet, Joseph. Yeah. Well, I mean, I did draw a thumbnail to plan it out, but you know how it is. What kind of pigment am I using for this piece? Fondant with a bunch of ingredients. Red number 40, glycerin, agar, blue number 1, sodium benzenate, which is a preservative, yellow number 5, citric acid, and I could go on and on. So many. Apparently the icing dries smooth too. This is about the extent of my baking skills. I'm not even kidding. Or cupcakes. Somebody more popular than me is gonna see this video and like make a really beautiful illustration on Rice Krispie treats, and I'll be kind of jealous because I would actually like to do that now. And NCE stands for Nashville Community Ed, who hosts my comic classes. I mean, if you've got wrist problems, though, this is really gonna aggravate. No, I'm making wouldn't that be like a cute convention list announcement? I'm just not that creative. Not this time. It's just a comic page. Yeah, really? Okay. You have to wait over there. And what's worse is it's going to be all stick figures because that's about what I've got in me right now.
Definitely tell the free-handed line.
Hey, break it up. Well, all of this needs to dry, so break it up. Hey, break it up.
To see how long it takes to dry?
No, but I'm going to let it dry overnight, which should probably be good enough. I literally opened this bottle of fondant icing on the stream. You're talking about, like... Oh my gosh, this is like... Okay. Bad, but not like the worst ever. Let's... Oh no, now it's on my hands. Oh no, oh no, every comic artist fear. No, no, dirty hands, no. It's gonna get on my page, oh no. I mean, that's how it goes. And then it's sticky, so that's even...
Why did you decide to do it horizontally instead of vertically?
You know, I thought about doing it vertically. And first of all, if I do it vertical, it's not gonna fit on camera. And that was mostly why. I have paper towels, don't worry. This is murder on your hands. If any of you guys are like real creative and like, oh, I'm gonna make an entire 8-page comic all in fondant icing. No. Now for some beautifully drawn stick figures by me, Becca Hilburn, professional comic artist person. What are you laughing at?
Stick figures.
Hot press or cold press? Treats, these are cold press. Should have used disposable gloves. Yeah, I know. But I would have gone through 4 sets of disposable gloves. I decided instead of putting all that waste out in the environment, I would just wash my hands like 30 times. How y'all liking my stick figures, huh? I think I could get a job with XKCD.
You're quite tall.
Are you critiquing?
I think you should take an anatomy class.
Oh my god. Y'all, do you hear this boy? Actually, you know what? Next week, y'all are going to get to see just how well Joseph draws. I have a poll here on YouTube and over on Patreon where you can vote for what type of thing you want to see him draw. So, yeah, keep yucking it up over there, Joseph. Keep being a jokester. That does not look like how it did in the... Oh, this is rough on the hands, y'all. They're holding out a comic, you jerk. You booty hole. You meanie beanie. For this type of project, though, this is actually pretty cool. The fondant icing is pretty neat. It's good. Probably tastes terrible because it's fondant icing. Fondant with rice. No. Ugh. Oh, it is. It is rice paper, and it is rice. It's puffed rice treats. Hey Terry, good evening. I promised big and delivered stick figures this evening. Okay, that is salvageable. On the wax paper, it's what we want. You should also comment on my scale because the zine is, oh no, it's a huge zine, never mind. Scale is A+++, perfect. And I know my head is so in the way. They do. I actually own a couple of examples of that. Okay, one more panel to go, and then I'm going to add details. It's 2 pounds of Rice Krispie treats. Oh, and the bottle's getting really hard to squeeze. Well, if one person decides to eat this whole one, no. Otherwise, I think we could share it with the class. Yeah, I'm just trying to like step back often enough that you guys can see what I'm doing. Yeah, this is surprisingly hard on the hands. Can you imagine doing cookies, like doing like a class full of cookies like this? This is supposed to be an exclamation point. I don't think, well, kind of. Not really. Oh, wow. That went skewed. Maybe I should have had you draw this one, Joseph. I think it's within your wheelhouse.
Yeah, I think I could do this
Good stick figures. I wish you could come, you could make that long drive and come to the Zine Exchange tomorrow night where we will be cutting into this and exchanging zines. Ugh, wow. It's getting like really frustrating. I think actually I'm gonna go run the tip under hot water, so I'll be right back. Sorry that took so long. Bring them. I thought about getting cute little gold sprinkles, and then I was like, Joseph's gonna say that's too much. He was very dubious about this idea in the beginning, but I think now that you see it, like, you get what I was going for, right? Very simple. Yeah, you know what? Oh, that helps so much. Washing it has helped so much. So if anybody else is like gonna do one of these for a birthday or something, yeah, running it under hot water helps. That makes sense too, because it would make the thing more liquidy. That's supposed to be Emanata, not their hair is on fire. No, gosh. And that's hair, not, I don't know, a handle. It's getting drippy. Well, I was thinking about how XKCD does hair, like very, very basic hair. Yeah. It looks like it's already starting to harden up, which is nice. It is for my comic class. Well, kind of. It's for the Zine Exchange tomorrow night. Oh, I want to draw a smile, but I don't know if that's gonna be a thing, a good thing. No, maybe not. Put M&Ms for the eyes. I do have M&Ms. They very well might stick. This might be it. Okay. Give me some suggestions, I guess. Does it include xylitol? I mean, Bowie's not getting any of it. I don't feed him sweets, but yeah. I'm not seeing any xylitol, though. Oh yeah, it was Hunter. I'm glad it worked out. It seemed like a really cool suggestion. I got wild and decided to do a little bit of 1 point or attempt to do a little bit of 1 point perspective. What's bad is I'm better at freehanding straight lines with fondant than I am with a pen. No, 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 no. I literally don't think it would work, okay? I honestly think this might be, given the consistency of this icing, this might be the best. The reed pens would work with food coloring. Like if we iced the cake and then did it with food coloring, a brand new reed pen that had been washed would probably work. And maybe we should do that in the future. Gonna complicate things by drawing in a background, increasing my potential for drips. How am I gonna fit this in my portfolio? I will bring it to Editor's Day. I'll redo it and bring it to Editor's Day. I'm sure that'll go over super well. When Heidi and I were there, Heidi liked to bake and I would help sometimes. And it got to the point where they just expected us to bring brownies and cookies and stuff to like every class. Like would just be like, hey, where are the cookies? I'm not even joking. And they were serious. They weren't asking it in like a jokey cute way, but like in a like we were expecting cookies. Hey Jill, good evening. I'm just drawing some comics. Is there anything you think I should add? I'm afraid if I add any more, like I feel like we're at like good density where you can tell what's going on other than this axe that she's holding. And
It looks like a comic.
I don't think it looks like a comic, but it's okay. It's a cake.
Like an open comic.
It's a cake and I did my best. Yeah.
Food safe brushes.
Yeah.
Or just synthetic brushes.
That have probably been like washed or whatever. Okay, Kino Kitsune, if you want, when we hang out in person, why are they yelling? They're just excited about the comic. Originally I did Emanata because it was like, oh, it'll look like they're talking, but yeah, it does kind of look like, I'm glad you thought she was yelling instead of threw horns out of her head. Well, she handed him, no, you know what it is? Because she's the one who handed him the zine. She's like, hey, where's mine? It was a one-sided zine exchange. Yeah, I think I'm going to call this it. I'm queen of like overdoing things. So I'm going to call this it. And I'm going to take some photos. And then I'm going to, because Lord knows if I wait till the zine exchange, by the time I get time to do it, there will be no cake. Do you want to come draw? No, you'll ruin it. This is as good as I'm going to be able to do, okay? All right? This is my best work. You do need to go to Ann Arbor. What I was going to say, though, is Kino Kitsune, if you're volunteering yourself, when we see each other in person, we can go get another Rice Krispie treat and buy all the accoutrements and do a stream where we paint a comic. I'm not adding another layer. No, no. No, I don't have another color. If I'd bought white, that could have been, whatever. No, no. I overcomplicate everything. And then it ends up ruined, and then I end up sad. So I'm not going to feel bad this time. Next week is my birthday stream, and we're making Joseph do some drawing. So if you guys want to get a say in what he draws, you can vote here on the YouTube poll, on the community page, or over on Patreon. We're gonna bully him. There's options like draw one of the cats, draw one of his OCs, or draw one of my OCs. Baking comics. That would have been cute, Lindsay. Where was that suggestion? Like, that would have been cute, actually. I'm all for a good pun. You should be proud of me. I'm kind of proud of myself right now. Okay, it's a whole new medium for me. Oh, and I don't bake. Not that I baked this. I bought the cake. But you know what I mean. So I'm doing this so we can drape, push that over a little bit. We can drape saran wrap over it, and it'll make it hopefully alive. All right. We're gonna, are you serious? We gotta save all of our energy for decorating it. Let me remove, oh, hey, that comes off kind of cleanly, except then it goes all over your hands. And I will taste the icing. Wouldn't it be so funny if the icing's gross? Like, really nasty. Maybe I should do a couple more. So, I lied to you guys. Once upon a time, in a whole other life for me, when I knew completely different humans, I baked a cake for a boyfriend. It wasn't Joseph. I baked 2 yellow cakes, and we were going to turn it into a Game Boy, and we bought store-bought icing or store-bought fondant and dyed it blue. And we were going to do, we had like pixel art of the guy's favorite Pokemon, and we were going to do it in like, what's the candy that's square and like chewy? Y'all know what I'm talking about, I'm sure. Anyway, the cakes turned out beautifully because my friend was a culinary student and was helping me do it. The cake turned out great. The fondant was disgusting, and he wouldn't stop harping. Like, he's the one who'd wanted this fancy Game Boy Charizard cake and insisted on being there when we made it because we were going to make it as a surprise. And he was just like a huge jerk about it. And, maybe I should wait or put some in the middle. I'm just like, I like how it's like progressively just more and more rose toothpicks. Anyway, I had visions of grandeur in my head for how awesome this Pokemon cake was going to turn out, and it was not very good. It was Starburst. Thank you. Excellent, excellent guesses. Making Rice Krispie treats is easy, but like think about it like this. You make them and then you have to let them cool. And then if you wanted to decorate it like this, you want it to be perfectly flat. So that's at least like half a day right there between making it and then letting it cool 100%. Because if you do it while the Rice Krispie, while the marshmallow is still hot, it's gonna melt the icing and ruin what you made. So like, yeah, you could refrigerate it, but it's still going to take time to cool. I like how I did such a good job and now I can't cover it. Maybe I should cover it in wax paper. That might be the solution. Yeah, yeah. We're going to wax paper it. It does have preservatives in it. Probably. I mean, it's like a giant sheet of pre-made Rice Krispie treat. All of y'all are like 100% more interested in baking than I am. I'm interested in eating. So if you're interested in baking, give me a call, because I'll come in and taste the baked goods.
Did you get a picture of it?
Yeah, I did. You better believe I did, because like I have a feeling this thing is going to die before we get it in the car tomorrow. Like I have a feeling a cat is going to jump on the counter and just decimate it, because that would be my luck, you know? Like, and I don't have room in my fridge for it. I'm going to put it on the stove.
I really wanted to taste like Zines, so.
Yeah, really. Except then I'd forget it. That's what I'm doing. Oh, yeah, that's not a bad idea, Lindsay. That way, when they knock it off the counter, it'll still be in one piece. And I didn't have like a Tupperware container large enough. That's why I'm using a Tupperware lid from like the home goods section instead of the kitchen section, because that was large enough. I like how it's taking me just as long to like craft a cover for this as it is to like, as I spent decorating it. Like I really cheaped out on the decoration. Just thinking about that Pokemon Game Boy cake. Like the idea was solid. It was definitely like a nailed it cake. Okay. All right, that's like, it's a beautiful craft experiment. Joseph, do you think you can carry it downstairs for me? Awesome, thank you. It does, and it's living on this. Like I'm delivering it to the exchange on this. I washed it. Say hi to Joseph, everyone. Joseph's hands, everybody. We'll wave for the people. Oh, how rude. All right. Make it. Wait, one of your shoelaces is untied. Should I tie it for you? You're gonna trip and fall down the stairs. All right, and that was our cake. And now that I don't have to worry about other people's food safety, it tastes like sugar and nothing else, and not good sugar. And look, it's already staining my fingers. Nope, no. This is what's gonna get me a publishing deal, is this cake. Like, see, editors, publishers, I'm totally willing to decorate a Rice Krispie cake in stick figures for you guys. So hire me, okay? Hire me for your events. Could you? No, I'm afraid it's gonna get too hot. We don't know what the weather is supposed to be like tomorrow. It's like hovering between like it wants to be 40 and it wants to be 70. Otherwise, that's a pretty good idea, but I'd still have to take it out to put it on my lap. All right, so I'm gonna wash my hands and then I'm gonna show you my student zines. And then we're gonna call it an evening before it gets too late. Did you make it in one piece?
Yeah.
Did it make it in one piece?
And you close the stream?
No, I am gonna show them my student zines and then we're gonna call it an evening.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, everybody worked so hard. Especially me.
Let's step over his knee.
Oh wait, there's some.
May as well show him
Sugar.
Shane's originals too.
Let me clean off. There is somehow some sugar on the table, despite there being like a. Wow, that sounds like Crazy Spring. Oh, hey Lindsay, I know you are you've got a cause you'd like to promote. Why don't you go ahead and talk about that here and drop a link, and Joseph or Kabocha will go ahead and approve it. Hey, Feather, good evening. Okay, so here are my student zines and one of mine as well. I'm going to flip through them, you guys. I am really proud of the work they did this semester. What do you mean? Oh, yeah. So making comics is a 6-week community ed class. It costs about $69 to take the class. Community ed provides a lot of the materials, but we're going to kind of rework that because it's a very expensive class for them. We have 6 weeks. Each class is 2 hours, and it usually runs from 6 to 8 p.m. on Thursday evenings. This semester was the first semester I was allowed to offer it to anyone 13 and up. So that was really cool. I was really excited about that. I had a couple of 16-year-olds in my class. Everybody seemed to mesh really well together. We kind of ran into a problem where there just wasn't enough time in 6 weeks. I taught it last semester, so fall semester, and they had a week off for Thanksgiving, which I think gave people more time to kind of work on their stuff. So what I did at the end of our 6 weeks is I actually requested the ability to use the classroom for 2 more classes. So that's what I was doing last week is I was sitting in for 2 more classes so that people had a chance to kind of finish their work. And our zine exchange is actually sponsored by a local zine shop, Wake Up Comics, here in Nashville. And we're doing that tomorrow from 5 to 7. I'm really excited about that. Yeah, I asked them to make 8 pages of content. Several people were like, can I do less than 8 pages? And it was like, I'd really rather you aim for that 8 pages, even if it's just an illustration on the page, because, and I explained to them, you know, printing requirements for these kind of zines, which I'll show you guys in a moment. And my patrons actually get access to everything I made for this class and the last class. So they get access to the class videos, they get access to bonus videos that I've recorded, they get access to, like, I made these big info docs, which were just like link lists for people who were looking for more information on making comics, stuff that we couldn't necessarily cover in class. I'm gonna read it out loud too, okay, Lindsay? So I live in a small town, and last week this girl who was 5 years old got diagnosed with meningitis, and unfortunately she passed away 2 days later. She was just in kindergarten. If you could donate $1 or $2, or if you can't, I understand it. Could you please share this link to help the girl's family with funeral expenses and hospital bills? I appreciate your kindness. And then Lindsay's also linked a GoFundMe. And it's really nice of you to be kind of looking out for this family too, like community pulling together. So I'll give you guys a moment to check that out. So the main focus was just getting them to make like an 8-page zine in black and white. And many of them really went kind of above and beyond. In fact, I think everybody did comics this semester, which is really cool. So I'm going to separate it out into black and white and color. And we're going to take a look at the black and white zines first. And something else I'm really excited about with this class is that for many of these people, this was not only, for many of the people taking the class, this was not only like their first time ever doing a comic, but it was for some of them, it was their first time drawing in a really long time. And I think the level of art we were able to get in 6 weeks was really impressive. No, I only lettered Jansen's comic, but I did, I laid everybody's comics out, and for some people I had to scan and reformat their work because we don't have access to any computers in that classroom or a scanner or anything like that. No problem, Lindsay. Hopefully that helps. So a lot of that kind of part of the process falls to me. I would really like to offer an advanced making comics class, maybe in one of the classrooms that has computers. because I feel kind of bad because a lot of them miss out on learning how to letter digitally and learning how to fix their own files, learning how to print their own files. And being able to offer that in an advanced class would be really nice, because I'm kind of keeping some of them, I think, from progressing on their comics journey if I'm doing all of like the scanning and stuff. Yeah, he's a monkey. All right, now we're going to take a look at our color comics, and I'll pop this one to the back because I have something else for that to show you. So this is Ellie's comic, and she did the first half of it last semester. And then she did like 25 pages this semester, which is just crazy impressive because she works a day job, so she's got a life in addition to doing these full color watercolor pages. But what I thought was really neat about how she approaches her watercolor comics is she draws the blue lines directly on her watercolor paper, paints it, and then inks it. So she's not doing any of like, well, she's doing them in her sketchbook, but she's basically redrawing everything, which seems like it kind of saves her some time. I thought her newest pages just turned out really beautiful and atmospheric. Like her use of color is really nice. Really evocative color. Like you can definitely tell she gained confidence with the watercolor. Even doing like monochrome for dark lit situations. And I'm not able to offer stuff like color advice because we just don't have that kind of time. So the fact that she's progressing and learning all of this on her own is really amazing. Yeah, that car was great. And then this one's really cool. So this is the first student I've had who's wanted to do a digital comic, and she borrowed her sister's iPad. So I think she did all of it in sorry, I can't remember the name of the software. It wasn't Photoshop. It's the one for Mac that is for iPad. No, it's something else. It starts with a P. But she did all of this. She did it in Procreate. Thank you. She did all of this in Procreate on a tablet, which is really, really cool. Like I was really excited to see somebody coming in with and doing digital stuff. I tell them they're welcome to bring in tablets and that sort of thing. A lot of the people who have a digital background usually want to try doing traditional media comics. This is also a returning student. Oh, did I not staple his? I'm glad I caught that. I can staple him tonight. And he did the first 10 pages in my first class. And this is a gentleman who was one of those I've never even drawn a stick figure before kind of people. And I'm really proud of how many chances he took and how much background he took in drawing people full figure and showing their hands and showing their feet. And even drawing people in a carriage, you know. I know all of that is kind of difficult. And then from here on, it's the stuff he'd worked on this semester. Actually, I really like this. So I was really excited to see, and he drew boats. Everybody knows boats are hard. Like, I was just really impressed by how many risks he took. And then this student, let me find the front, because we have a little bit of an unusual layout. They really enjoy manga art, and they decided to color all of it in color pencil, which is just super impressive to me. I know how time consuming, and also I really love how her style really starts to gel. I would love to see more of it. It's sort of like daily adventures because she's a teacher, so it's like her daily adventures as a teacher. And then we have this comic, which I'm really, really excited about. This student did everything in ballpoint pen. I'm not even joking, which is amazing. It's one of those the multi-pens with like 20 colors. And when I saw her work, like let's say week 4, she was creating these beautiful illustrations in ballpoint pen. I suggested maybe introducing like Shiogami paper or washi tape, and that way she's not having to draw all of these backgrounds. She can use those additional assets to kind of flesh out the page. And it's a story about a Japanese fisherman, which is another reason why I suggested the Chiyogami paper and the washi paper. And I love how this turned out. Her work is beautiful. And I'm going to show you guys in a minute up close what it looks like, because I scanned her originals for her, so I have them. And I'm going to give them to her tomorrow. So this is the ballpoint pen on paper. And it was done in her sketchbook originally. And then we used, well, she used, let's see if I can get this to stay. She used, actually I can show you what she used. I thought I could. I have on one hand, like those little Tombow tape runners. She used some of those and some double stick tape and then the washi tape and stuff. So these are really cool. And like, check it out. I don't know if it's coming up clearly, but it's all very delicate. Like all of the colors created are very delicate hash marks. And here's the double page spread, and I really like the use of the Chiyogami paper to imply water, and then like the repeated texture. Like Sakura washi tape, all kind, not Sakura washi tape. We haven't gotten any of that yet. But just like different washi tapes that I've gotten from like Amazon over the years. I'm really happy to see them put to such a creative use. So yeah, these are really beautiful, and unfortunately my camera can't quite capture them. She said Gudetama. She went through 2 Gudetama multi-pens doing this comic, which I would believe. And I told her if she can take my class during the summer, I'm going to bring in some of the friction erasable pens so she can play with that too. I mean, the thing is, she's doing these during her school day. So like during math class, that sort of thing. And we talked about it, and we both kind of agreed that, you know, having a ballpoint pen in class, it's not as obvious as using like markers or watercolor or whatever. So, but the fact that she was able to do this, considering how time consuming this is, the fact that she was able to do all of this in 6 weeks while attending classes is just really phenomenal. 8 weeks, yeah, because she did attend the 2 bonus classes. Yeah. So my printer doesn't quite capture how beautiful the colors are, how delicate the colors are, but I think it's still pretty cool. And then I was so inspired by all of their hard work that I finally got around to compiling Lilliputian Living Volume 2. So it printed a little bit dark, but I'm okay with that. It's ink wash, so, you know. I'd already kind of fiddled with it, trying to lighten it up a bit, and I figured if I fiddled with it too much more, I'd start losing a lot of it. So yeah. Those are all my students' zines. I printed out 17 copies for each of them. So they're going to have enough to give. I think we have 13 students. So there's going to be enough for everyone, plus copies for our host, and then copies for NCE, and then a copy for me. What paper do I use when I'm printing? I just use the cheapest Amazon Basics copy paper. It works fine. Yeah. Even for my own zines, I'll use that, but especially because I'm printing out their zines, and I get paid $5 per student per class, so I get about $300 at the end of the semester. And sometimes when we run out of supplies, I'm the person, you know, replacing supplies. So I try to keep it as economical on my end. Yeah, I know, I'm so excited for them. This is really, I mean, last semester was really good. This semester is really good. It's really awesome to see adults and older teenagers be able to pump out a comic in 6 weeks. I know how hard that is. Oh, it's because I have a toner printer. So this is toner rather than like an inkjet printer. So how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9. It's not a bad little crop of zines. Yeah, I know. That's what I kept telling them is like, you guys are already doing a lot better than many art school kids because they can't finish it and y'all are finishing it. No, don't feel, no. I print a lot. I print a lot of zines and con stuff, like my own stickers and signage, stuff like that. So it just made more sense to buy a toner printer than to go down to Office Max and let them screw up for 2 hours. So, you know. And what's cool about toner is it is alcohol marker and water resistant. It's not going to reactivate if you put water on it or marker on it. So you can use it to like print out line arts and stuff. I think, oh, we got like 5 minutes. I'll hang out with you guys till 9 and then I'm going to call it an evening. For once we will have had an hour-long power hour. The best accomplishment of all. I usually run over by like a significant amount. Regular would take 6 months. No, they have 6 weeks to do this. Especially if you're like already drawing. I think for 8 pages, I would do an illustration a day. Oh, 6 weeks? Yeah, I feel like 6 weeks is pretty fair considering, you know how it is when you're like just learning how to draw. It just takes you longer to do everything. So I keep that in mind too, that for many of them, there's a lot of erasing and retrying and replanning involved. And for many of them, they're also kind of learning that your concept may not fit in 8 pages. Like you might think it's going to fit in 8 pages, but 8 pages is harder to do than many people think. So it's often like an exercise in like figuring out your boundaries. Yeah, we cover comic planning, we cover thumbnailing, we cover character design. I go over basic human anatomy, I go over perspective, we talk about environmental design, we do some exercises about environmental design, we talk about the rough stage. I try to give them a class period where they're just working on their stuff and I'm going around and I'm helping them. We have an inking workshop where I bring in a bunch of inking supplies and they play around with those. We have the assembly class, and then they're free. I think you should do it, Lindsay. Do you have a concept for it? Or maybe you could work together with them to create a children's book that would feel really special because y'all worked on it together. Oh, fair. Oh, gosh. Yeah, I would say 6 weeks for a zine. Yeah. What I usually do is I will either do zines around, like I've done Magical Girl March as a zine, and I've done a lot of Inktober zines. And I have a bunch of mermaids that I did that I need to turn into a mermaid zine. So I basically will take like a month-long challenge where, you know, you do 1 illustration a day and I'll write up a prompt and then I'll share that on my Instagram. And then that way later on when I'm in a position to actually turn it into a zine, I can just grab the prompt from Instagram instead of like coming up with the world building information to go with the characters, if that makes sense. Because like after you're doing 30 pages of that, you're pretty brain dead. I spent 4 hours cranking out volume 2 and I thought that was pretty good for me. Yeah, oh yeah, I tried to, there's a lot of pets in this one. So like mice and bunnies. I'm getting to it. And the chipmunk. And what do they have? A dragonfly, kitty cat, squirrels. grab, I can grab volume 1. So volume 1 of Lilliputian Living is all about different types of Lilliputian jobs. It's really thick too. And my patrons have this available as a PDF already. They don't have this one yet. So volume 2 is kind of a mixture of things. So there's like 5 basic types of Lilliputians. You have house Lilliputians who live near humans but not with humans. So Carol would probably be a house Lilliputian. You have villager Lilliputians who live far away from people but near other Lilliputians. So they have communities. You have towny Lilliputians who live in like apartment complexes. So they live near humans. Maybe they live in like the storage spaces or in like the spaces between walls, but they also live near other Lilliputians, whereas house Lilliputians don't live near other Lilliputians. You have mall Lilliputians who live in the different stores of the mall, and this was originally, was it called Nano Crew or Micro Crew? I think it was Nano Crew. This was originally going to be a pitch. Well, I was originally going to pitch a comic called Nano Crew to Random House. Where it just it's like different mall Lilliputians who work to solve the problems that are too small for people to solve, that kind of thing. And they decided to pass, so that's okay. And then we have traditionalists who live out in the woods and don't really want much to do with other Lilliputians and are very survivalist kind of people. And then we have nomadic, so like messengers, traders, merchants, those kind of Lilliputians who don't have a problem with other Lilliputians and they travel from community to community, but they don't necessarily live in one place for too long. And then for this one, this was before the pitch got shut down, so I was kind of developing. Oh, somebody beat me to it. Damn. So I was kind of developing just the different personalities of the main cast for that pitch. So we have like the girl who lives at the toy store who does Rube Goldberg machines, and the pet store who uses the different animals in the pet stores to help her solve different problems. And then the ice cream parlor is kind of like an ice dweller. And then the craft store who dreams of adventures outside the mall. And the stationery store who's a romantic and a poet. And the flower shop who has a green thumb. And the candy store. And the hair salon where it's 2 sisters. And then I talk about like different types of families and like what the family structure would be like for each different type. Because since secrecy is huge for Lilliputians, you know, where you live would kind of dictate how large your family can get. And then I talked about different kinds of pets. Including toads, because I like amphibians and reptiles. And of course, Kara and Dusty and her dad, because, you know, what's the point of doing a zine if you can't be kind of self-indulgent sometimes? And what was nice, what I like to do with these kinds of things is I really like drawing a variety of people, and I don't get to do that with Kara because it's such a small cast. So what I really like about these Lilliputian zines is it gives me a chance to kind of show that there's a lot of diversity in Lilliputian communities. And something I'd like to work on next year is drawing more elderly people and drawing people with a variety of disabilities. So that's kind of my goal for next year. And also drawing like a better variety of body types, because I tend to just default. So this is kind of a good opportunity for me to practice different things I'd like to practice that don't always work in Kara. You probably could. Dear Random House, we really love Becca Hilburn's art and ideas, and we would love to read a comic about tiny people. Please take a look at her portfolio. I don't know how well that would work, but I mean... Oh, Oh, so I do give these to editors when I see them. Yeah, yeah. I think GT is the common name for it, which is giant tiny, which also loops in with a specific fetish. So it's like I use the hashtag, but I'm not always involved with it. Yeah, so I don't know what I'm going to do for next year's Inktober, or if I'm even going to do Inktober during Inktober. I might do it in November. This Inktober was really hard for me because I was doing ink wash, which is already time consuming, and then I did a show and I got really, really sick, and I was sick for like 5 weeks, and then my class started. So I need to be better about tackling things I can actually accomplish. They don't have, no, they've never, Kara's dad never tasted people food until he moved in with Meldina's family. And there's like a whole, like I have a whole, no. She'd had sugar, but that was not, I don't know why that girl did not put 2 and 2 together. Kara's out in La La Land, I guess. She do what she want. Yeah, it can be, it can be stressful, but I really like it because it's an opportunity to draw stuff with other people. And it's also an opportunity to do black and white stuff, because usually I'm doing watercolor comics, and watercolor comics can be kind of a hard sell, or at least my watercolor comics are kind of a hard sell to editors. And then they'd be like, well, I would hire you if you did more, if we could just see what your line art looks like. And it's always like, this is what my line art looks like. You can see it here. Yeah, well, well, this year I was really slow at painting Kara pages, but in general, I'm pretty fast at watercolor. All right, I think this is it. If you guys want to check out the Zine Exchange tomorrow night, would you guys prefer we do it as a live stream and just do 10 minutes of it? Or would you prefer we capture segments from various points of the Zine Exchange? Because it's a 2-hour thing. And then just do that as a video and release it maybe on Saturday or Sunday. Which would you guys prefer? Which would be more interesting? I'll send it to you if you want to do it. I need to send it to them. I need to send this one to them. Get people hooked on tiny people. I'm telling you guys, when other people recommend you, when people who enjoy your work recommend you, I honestly think it holds more weight than you doing it yourself. I mean, obviously, like a combination of the two is great. So my concern with doing it as a live stream is it's a 2-hour thing, but they're not, like no one's required to be there for 2 hours, just me. And I guess Joseph's required to be there for 2 hours. Politely demand. Well, who knows? Maybe we'll see them at Editor's Day this year. Can load them down with zines. That's something else I'd like to do, is I'd like to do a book on, like a comic creation book for kids and teens. One of my big wow-ads about those kind of books aimed at younger people, because I buy those books aimed at younger people to share with my students, is they don't talk about drawing like at all. And I would love to have like a solid introductory, you know what I mean? Like, this is the basics of human construction. This is the basics of perspective. Yeah, that could be. Actually, I mean, I would ask them, but they are very used to me videoing them because I run the recording during classes. Now, to be fair, that's not available to the public. That's just available to them and patrons. So in case someone missed a class, or for people like me who have learning disabilities and might want to rewatch a segment, I record classes so people can catch back up. So I guess then what I will do is maybe a little A, maybe a little B. So after we get set up, but before things get rolling, do a quick live stream just to maybe get new people out and attending, and then do like a longer video afterwards. Hi, Pepper. Yeah. Go relax. That's a good excuse for me to end this evening anyway. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I kind of didn't expect we'd have as good a turnout as we did, so I'm really delighted that y'all made the time. I hope you guys enjoyed the Rice Krispie comic. If you make your own Rice Krispie comics, please send them to me. I want to see them. What else? Next Friday, Joseph is going to be doing some of the drawing. I'm not going to be taking... I might take a couple sketch requests. I feel bad going for so many weeks without doing any sketch requests. So I might take some and I'll fill them. But we're going to make you draw something. So if you guys want to watch Joseph draw, you should definitely go vote in the poll. I'm really glad you can make it too, Feather. It's nice seeing you, like hanging out with you in a new context. And what else? Oh, I've got some other kind of fun surprises planned for next week, but nothing like super different from the normal. No, Joseph has not practiced since the last time he drew me a birthday card when I was still in Savannah. So I'm looking forward to it. And you can use whatever materials you want. So think of icing you want to do. We have half full. We could do it. We could go get little Rice Krispie treats and you could do tiny. That would be kind of cute though. I'm telling you, this hurts the hand so much. It's very tiring. All right, guys, have a wonderful evening. I'll see you again next week. Bye, guys.